Today, we're reacting to Sportsnet talking about big name defense rumors and whether the Leafs can actually make those moves happen. Leafs rumors are always loud, but reality usually hits hard. Like the video and subscribe if you enjoyed this content.
He's a warrior. Let's call it what he is. He's going to really add to that group. When you start plugging in players like this to establish teams and teams that are ready to win, and that's really where Vegas is at. They're trying to win every year. Man, is he going to add some serious depth for them? And they've been starving for that right-hand shot defenseman, obviously, with some key injuries that they have sustained, and with Pietrangelo out. I think he's going to fill a need. He's going to fill a need, and he can log tons of minutes. He'll eat a ton of shots again, and he can give you a little spark offensively too. So they got themselves a real good defenseman for a push here.
What kind of guy was he like to? First off, thanks for joining us. I should say hello. Hi. What kind of guy was he like to be around? He seems like he's got this big personality. You've seen him going back and forth with Tom Wilson and the big head stuff and staring down fans. He seems like a lot of personality.
I'll tell you what, he's a riot to coach. He really is. He's fun to be around. He's got great energy. This is a guy, like you said, he goes into the corners and he's staring fans down after he scores a goal. I mean, he's fun. He enjoys to play the game. He enjoys to compete, and I think you feel that energy from him. So that's one of his best assets, and he can play. He can log the minutes. I think they're gonna love him there. I really do. And now there's going to be an adjustment. You got to understand, you make a move like this for a guy who's been in one organization, it's going to take some time. I think the one benefit that they have is he has some chemistry with his, I guess we're anticipating his partner, who it's going to be there in Vegas. But, it's going to be different. When you're taking the same path to the rink every day, you're talking to your same teammates, the same coach, the same management. All of a sudden, it's going to be brand new for him. So I think he'll be able to adjust. I think doing this move ahead of the Olympics is a great idea. It allows him time to settle in. It gives him, even though he's going to be in the Olympics, I think it just lets his head kind of process this. So they're getting a real good player, and he brings fantastic energy. He's going to fit right in with that group.
You're watching and listening to Brad Larson, former NHL coach, Columbus, Calgary. What is that like for a coach when you know that a shoe's going to drop with certain players here, and yet you still got to go out there and do a good job? I think everybody under the hockey world knew that Anderson wasn't long for Calgary, but it didn't seem to affect them too much. But it can't be easy coaching those circumstances as well.
No, it's tough. I think the best thing you can do is address it right away. Coaching in Columbus, we went through that when we had Artemis Panarin and Bobrovsky. And one thing that you learn from John Tortorella is we get the elephant out of the room right away. And we address that. And so you move forward. And again, they're players, they're performers. They have ambitions too. And whether it's playing for a contract, a trade, whatever that is, it's really important that you get rid of those distractions.
These big names always sound exciting at first. It makes fans dream about what the team could look like, with one big addition.
But you have to address it. And I know Calgary, they did. You heard Backlund talk about it early in even before the season started. So it was addressed. I know Ryan Huska and his staff management, it's an outstanding group there. I think Rasmus handled it like a true pro. He came to play. Lots to play for with an Olympic here. And he knew what was at stake, but he performed. And that's what you want. You just want the player to give his best every night. And they did that. And I think as a group, the team itself, the players, the coaching staff, I think everybody handled it really, really well in a tough situation.
Brad, when we worked together the other night, I saw a picture of you were coaching, and it was you, Torts, and who was the other coach in that picture?
Marty St. Louis.
And
I was quite a bit taller than him, if you saw that.
Yeah. Okay. You were a giant in the photo, as I recall it. So that's a pretty crazy coaching staff. What's it like managing different personalities and styles? I cannot believe that Marty St. Louis and John Tortorella would want their guys to play the same way. So how do you manage that as the coach?
Well, that's the whole secret sauce, right? Like, how do you get to every guy? How do you help them out? How do you build relationships? These are all the kind of the nuances of coaching, and how do you do it? And it's not just one guy; it's your whole staff, right? The head guy leads it, of course, because he has to make all the hard decisions. We generally talk about it as a staff, but if there's a guy sitting out, or if there's a guy, that's the guy who's making the hard message all the time. So your assistants are really important for kind of connecting that message and maybe helping him through a situation. So it's challenging, but that's the fun of it. It never gets bored, because even when you're winning, there's lots of things that need to be sorted through. There's fires to be put out. There's guys who need help. There's guys that are on a heater, and you're trying to help them through it. So you're always kind of every day aligning as a staff and going, hey, who needs to be talked to today? Who needs to be communicated to? And then, you collaborate and you help these guys out as best you can.
Brad, you mentioned Rasmus going into Vegas and having plenty of time to be acclimated now with his surroundings and getting ready for what this should be another spectacular Stanley Cup playoffs. I believe at the March trade deadline, there's roughly 40 days for a player to get traded at the deadline and go in there and feel at home, whether it's on the ice or off the ice. Is that enough time? Is that not enough time for in your estimation as a coach to work with it? Should it get revisited that late?
Yeah, I who knows, right? And to every individual is different on how they handle it. I think it's tougher when guys who haven't been through the process get traded. There's an adjustment period, and I think.
But when you look at cap space and assets, it quickly feels unrealistic. Toronto gets linked to everyone, even when it doesn't make much sense.
What we can't, disregard is the human element, because everybody's going to handle it a little bit different. There's families involved, whether they're coming or they staying back behind and going to visit. It's new surroundings. So I've always admired the GMs that were able to kind of pull the trigger earlier, because it just helps them settle in, right? It gives them more time, more games to find out what the new normal feels like. So and again, it's easy to say here playing armchair GM. They all would want to do it earlier, but it's dollars in, dollars out. You need a willing partner. It's all those things. So sometimes those deals don't come down till the final buzzer. Really, they're coming in right under the wire. So more time is better, but I think at the end of the day, you do what you got to do to improve your team.
So one of my favorite things on your hockey DB page is you played for the 02-03 Colorado Avalanche, who went head-to-head with those Detroit teams. So you're in a dressing room with Forsberg, Hayduk, Sakic, Rob Blake. Just an incredible group. These teams that are good and are welcoming new players into the fold, I imagine having those type of guys makes it easier. Having a culture already set, it's much easier to just import a new personality into that room.
Oh, absolutely. And you notice when you mention all those names, one guy doesn't fit in that group. I won't say who, but
you're there.
It's fun. Yeah, that's right. You look back on your career, and sometimes you don't realize what you're in until you're out of it, right? And so I was the benefactor of being around a bunch of tremendous players and Hall of Famers, and that was my normal. So when you come into a winning room and the standard's so high, and like Vegas is right now, they what the goal is. It's not playoffs. It's win the Stanley Cup. I think, they all want to win. They all want to welcome this guy. They want him to feel as comfortable as quickly as possible, because they want to win, right? So I don't think it's going to be hard that way. The one thing about hockey, you guys have been around. Oh, sorry here.
We're good.
You're good.
Just,
We got you.
We're good. All right. We got a call.
You're good.
Yeah, we're back. We're back. I think having that winning culture, it happens organically, right? Rasmus is going to be excited and nervous and all those things, and he'll sort through that, but he's going to have a ton of guys that are going to help him through that process.
It's going to be fun to watch, Brad. Really appreciate your time, man. Thanks for doing this.
You bet. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, Brad. Appreciate it.
Brad Larson.
That team was so stacked.
Dude, the Colorado teams he's on, they're just absolutely loaded.
What year?
So 02-03. And then, so he was actually with them for 50 games in 01-02 as well. And then from there, he got picked up in the expansion draft by Atlanta.
Tough.
And so he's telling me, the difference in culture between the Atlanta Thrashers expansion team and the Colorado Avalanche of 03.
Correct.
Just multiple Hall of Famers everywhere.
And he said, though, as soon as he got into that room in Atlanta, because he had only been in Colorado in the NHL prior.
The Leafs live in rumor season all year long, but not every rumor deserves attention. reality usually wins in the end. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know which rumors you actually believe.